This section reviews graphing, which we covered earlier in the chapter, along with applying some of the methods that we used along the way. To start, we have standard form. Y equals x squared plus 6x plus 7. We want to find the axis of symmetry, negative b over 2a. Negative 6 over 2 times 1, we get negative 3. That's the line that's going to be symmetrical for this parabola. Okay, now if we plug in negative 3, that's going to give us the vertex. So we plug in negative 3 for all those x's. 9 minus 18, that's negative 9 plus 7 gives us negative 2. Vertex is negative 3, negative 2. Okay, so our vertex is here. And now for parabolas, we can always just use that pattern. This pattern is going up 1. Let me do this highlighter tool instead. So up 1, up 3, up 5. Okay, and draw it out. This has a minimum value because it's at the bottom, and the minimum value is negative 2. Next up is vertex form, and we're going to review this by also incorporating completing the square. So in this equation, we have a coefficient on the x squared here. Let's start off by separating out that plus 13 at the end. Okay, so we group together the 2x squared and the 12x, and we want to factor out their common factor, which is a 2. So our equation would look like this. We took out this 2. Right, we have an x squared minus 6x left over. We're completing the square inside those parentheses, all right, and we put a blank on the other side to keep the equation balanced. The 13 is out, separated at the end there. Okay, cut the middle term in half. We get a negative 3. We want to square that, which gives us a 9, and that's what we complete the square with. Now on the other side, just keep in mind that we actually added 18 on the right side of the equation. So over here, we want to add an 18. Okay, this whole parenthesis is our perfect square trinomial, and it's going to turn into an x minus 3 squared. Okay, so here's our equation. Right, we don't want y plus 18 on the left, we just want y equals. So we're going to move this 18 to the other side. Minus 18. Okay, and that gives us our equation here. So y equals 2, x minus 3 squared, minus 5. Okay, from here we can get the vertex, opposite, same. So 3, negative 5. All right, now we can graph it all out. So we have 3, negative 5 is our vertex. Okay, and from here we're going to use the pattern. Normally it's up 1, up 3, up 5, but this has a coefficient, which means it's going to go up 2. And then it's going to go up 6. And then it would go up 10. Can't fit the 10. All right, looks like that. Lastly, we're going to review graphing in intercept form, and we're going to do that by factoring an equation in standard form. So we have blank times blank equals 8, blank plus blank equals negative 6, and our numbers are negative 4, negative 2. This is the easier earmuffs because we have an invisible 1 there. So we can jump right to the parentheses. We don't have to do those two fractions, x minus 4, x minus 2. In intercepts form, we're just taking each of these numbers and switching the sign. Take the opposite of each of these. So we have an intercept at 4 and 2. If we wrote them as points, I'll just put a 0 for the y, 4, 0, 2, 0. As for the axis of symmetry, add the intercepts together and cut it in half. 4 plus 2 over 2. Axis of symmetry is at x equals 3. We can find the vertex by plugging in that 3 into these x's up here. So we have 3 squared is 9, minus 6 times 3, so that's negative 18. So 9 minus 18, negative 9, plus 8 is negative 1. All right, so now we can graph everything out. So we have 3 negative 1's our vertex, and it's just doing the normal pattern, up 1, up 3, up 5.